Okay, so this is GCSE Papers Shadow Set 1, Higher Tier, Paper 2, Thursday 6th of June 2019. Okay, this time I'm going to have a look at question 15. Typical GCSE question, changing the subject of a formula. So this one says, make M the subject of the formula P equals 3M minus 4 over M plus 1. Right, so I'm just going to start by writing it out. P equals 3M minus 4 over M plus 1. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, I really want to get rid of this fraction, right? We've got P equals 3M minus 4 over M plus 1, and what you want to do is remove the fraction. So to remove the fraction, I'm going to multiply both sides by M plus 1. So if I'm multiply by M plus 1 on this side and multiply by M plus 1 on that side, that's going to give me P lots of M plus 1 on the left hand side, and if we multiply by the fraction, it's just going to remove it. The denominator is we're just going to be left with the numerator. The denominator is going to be gone, so I've just left with 3M minus 4 on the right hand side. The next step would be to remove the brackets, to multiply out the brackets here. So if I multiply out those brackets, I've got P times M, which is PM, and P times 1, which is P, so PM plus P, and that is equal to 3M minus 4. Now, next part is a critical part to this question. Right, we need to make M the subject of the formula. That's what we're told in the question. So what we need to do is, because we've got an M on the right hand side and an M on the left hand side, we need to get all of the terms involving M on one side of the equals and all the terms that don't involve M on the other side of the equals. Now, it doesn't really matter whether you put everything involving M on the left hand side or everything involving M on the right hand side. It's not necessarily correct or incorrect. It can just help you later on. Okay, now I always look to try and see if I can have as few negative terms as possible. Okay, and what's really important is that you really want to try and keep the M's positive, or at least one of them positive. Okay, so in this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything involving M on the right hand side and everything that doesn't have an M in it on the left hand side. So if I want to put PM from this side over there, I'm going to take away PM from both sides, and that's going to leave me with just P on this side, and then I'll have 3M minus PM minus 4 on the right hand side. So now I've got these two terms with M in. This one doesn't have an M in, so I need to get rid of this one. So if I add 4 to both sides, it means I'm left with P plus 4 equals 3M minus PM. Okay, and now I've got everything involving M on one side, the right hand side in this case, and everything that doesn't have M on another side, the left hand side in this case. So next step is we've got M, we've still got two M's, okay, and there's one thing that I can do which will mean I'll only end up writing down one M, and this skill is needed in nearly all of these type of questions that you would get on the higher tier. How can I write that so I'm only writing one M? It's factorising. If I factorise this expression here, the right hand side, I will only write M down one time. Factorise this expression, put the brackets in, I'll have an M outside of the bracket, and I'll have 3 minus P inside the bracket. Of course, on this side, I've still got my P plus 4. Done. I'm getting closer and closer to the answer, because remember, if I want M to be the subject of a formula, I want M on its own on one side. It doesn't matter whether it's the right or left, I just need M on its own. And I've got P plus 4 equals M multiplied by 3 take P. So what I can do is I can just divide both sides by this bracket, divide by the bracket, divide by 3 minus p. So if I just write that in, divide by 3 minus p on that side, divide by 3 minus p on that side, I will be left with p plus 4 over 3 minus p equals m. And that is the answer. P plus 4 over 3 minus p equals m. There are more than one answer that would be acceptable, and I'm going to do the other one as well. Okay, and it all depends on how you do this stage up here. Okay, this one is my preferred answer. This one would be acceptable and definitely get you full marks in an exam. I'm just going to do another one which doesn't quite give such a tidy answer, but that would actually be acceptable. Okay, so I'll just start the question again. I've got my p equals 3m minus 4 over m plus 1. I'm going to do exactly the same and still need to remove this fraction, same as I did first step previously. I'd get p lots of m plus 1 equals 3m minus 4. I'm then going to multiply out this bracket, exactly the same, pm plus p equals 3m minus 4. And now I'm just going to do something a bit different here. Okay, this time I'm going to put the m's on the left hand side and put the m's over this side, and I'm going to put everything that doesn't have m on the right hand side. So if I just begin to do that, it means I'm going to take away 3m first. So that'll leave me with pm minus 3m plus p on this side and minus 4 on that side. Now you can see it's already looking a little bit less neat, a little bit less mathematically neat, because I'm just left with a minus 4 over here. All right. Whereas previous at this stage in the first one, I didn't have a minus 4, I had a positive p. Right, so I've got my m's here, and I want to get this p, get rid of this p. So if I take away p from both sides, it's going to leave me with pm minus 3m equals minus 4 minus p. Again, I've got lots of negative signs. All right, it's correct, it just doesn't necessarily look as nice. Everyone prefers positive numbers to negative numbers. Okay, which is why I say try and keep things positive if you can. So got to this point again, I've got my two m's. I only want one of them, but I've got all my m's on one side, so this is where I can factorise. So I've put, if I write m and then p minus 3 equals minus 4 minus p, yeah, that would work out, mp or pm, and 3m minus 3m, with those two multiplied together. That's done. And the final step is almost always just to divide by the bracket. Right, we've got m times by p take 3. So if I just divide by this bracket, p take 3, divide by p take 3, that will leave me with m equals minus 4 minus p over p minus 3. Right, so I've got m on its own, but I've got this negative numbers on the top, which never looks as nice. This is the better way to go about doing it, up and working it through like this, as opposed to being left with these negatives at the end here.